Right, welcome to another video. Gonna be a little bit different this. We're on a bit of it's a bucket refurb, but we're altering it substantially. Obviously, this is it's not terribly worn out. This edge probably just wanted change. You probably want a new floor in it, but I got this for free from a site that I went to where they were throwing it in skip. So I've had it knocking about yard for, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 years. So what we're going to do, we're going to make this into a high capacity bucket. Now, it's all a bit up in my head, this design. I wouldn't say it's really a design either. But, yeah, so I'll show you what I'm thinking. So, top of bucket's like that, and then your hitch is there, like so. The bucket sort of comes round. You've got a bucket edge on here, like that. And then this is sort of bottom of your bucket, and then your bucket goes like that. So what we're thinking is, this bottom's knackered, so I'm going to cut the bottom off sort of here. I'm going to extend it down, and then I'm going to put a flat bottom in it, with a bucket edge on the end of that. And then, obviously this piece here will get filled in, but then it's going to end up with a sort of like a bit like a loading shovel's got a big rounded top on the sides, on the side of bucket, so that'll end up as like a big rounded top, and then we will end up putting like a bit of a greedy board on the top of there, which obviously the round will come from that. But yeah, that's the general idea of it anyway. I'm going to start cutting this in bits, so there's a lot of it you're going to have to get cut out. So we're going to probably cut back to, I would say, somewhere around about here, so where the floor's not worn. Then cut all the bottom out, all the edge off. Yeah, I'll bring you back when I've got it cut in bits, and I'll show you what the crack is, what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. And this is for a customer, this. We're going to have to alter the hitch slightly as well, but that's not a big job, because that's on like a 6-ton machine hitch from 45mm pins, whereas his is on like a 3CX hitch, which has got a really big gap between the pins. So the pin size and dipper gap is right, but the pin centres is like 100mm off, so I'll just cut back out. Probably cut some new plates with arc droid, weld them in, weld the pin in, and then it'll be right. So yeah, so this will come like that, or something like that. Right, I'll bring it back when I get somewhere. Right, sorry for the compressor running in the background, but yeah, I've just lopped the edge off into pieces, it's just down there. So I'm now going to flick it up, draw a line on the back and cut the back. Right, you can see I've marked it all up now, so I'm going to cut all them lines now. I'm going to clamp a straight edge on to the back of there so I can make that nice and straight, because I'm going to join straight to that. So it wants to be a nice easy gap to join to. So yeah, I'll bring you back when I get further. Right, so you can see now I've lopped this floor out. I've chopped the middle bit off because it's not going to be in the right place anyway, so I'm just going to join into that and come round to wherever my floor ends. I've cut the rest of the old edge out. I've just sort of taken most of the weld off of here, just so that I can mock the bucket up easily. This will probably end up getting cut flat back here so that I can get a nice piece in it. Same at this side, just chopped as much weld off as I could. So I'm going to probably going to cut the piece of 6mm to just go in that bit and see what it looks like. Right, you can sort of see what the general idea is now. So that's a piece of 6mm. So he does want to get tilted up a bit more, I think. And then there's going to be another piece of 6mm, which is 300, come sort of out like that, roughly, and then the edge after that, and then this will end up with an extra bit up here, probably somewhat similar to this, and then the ends will end up with a big curve on them. So you can sort of see what the idea is now. I know it would look better if I got that rolled, but the lad that's sort of ordered it said sort of not as cheaply as possible, but he wants it to last, but don't want to spend £1,000 on a digger bucket. So I get that. Getting somebody to roll 6mm is pretty hard work these days. So I know there's some gaps at the back of here, but that's not down all the way, and that's not out all the way, and they'll get crimped in and welded up, that gap. It's not a problem, that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to clean that edge up there, and I'm going to tack it in where I think I'm going to want it, and then I'm going to then lie it up and tack the next one in, so I can draw these sides so I can cut them on arc dried. So I believe them sides should be 10mm, which they are, so I can cut them nice and easy out of 10mm. I'll probably end up cutting a piece that sort of carries on from this to the end, and then I'll cut a big like moon shaped piece to fill the to bring this out like that. So yeah, I'll bring you back when I get a bit further. Right, so you can kind of see what we're doing now. So that's where the old edge would have been, and then the new edge is going to be out here. So obviously all that floor is infill. So you can see from here, that floor there is at the same angle that is, so all I've done is drop it down and bring it back out. I've put that piece in just to hold the floor at the right angle. It's only tacked in. So now what I'm going to do is draw a straight line on here somewhere from where I've tacked it up to that edge, draw a pattern to go from that corner of that up to wherever this cuts along round here like this. I'm going to cut that out with the arc dried and some 10mm plate. That'll do both them sides, and then I need to then decide what I'm going to do up here. So I want a piece up here to stop everything from dropping up back at the bucket, so I know it must be like 4 or 5 inches tall, something like that. I think that's about 4. That there is about 4, so we can carry that on. Yeah. So I'll concentrate on this bottom for now. So I've got both them sides to cut, and then there's a bit here to cut once they're like that. And you get welded in back there, so it'll hold the middle of the floor in. So same at this side, I'll cut a straight line up there somewhere, infill. I'll make both of them exactly the same, and then it looks apart. Right, I'll bring you back probably when I've made my patterns and I'm messing about with my arc dried. Right, so just been on with making these templates. So you can see this one's going to come here, like middle like that, to strengthen that middle up, and then these ones here are going to come in there. No, not that way up, that way up. Nope. Like that. I'll get there eventually. So they're going to come like that. So that'll be the edge. It'll just be to make this up to here, and then this is going to have a big bit like that over the top of it. So can't cut it all in one piece with the arc drive, it's not big enough, so I'll cut them plates out there, make it into a bucket again, Same at this side. I'll sort this top piece out here and cut a big radius like that over that edge. Right, I will bring you back when I do some cutting. Right, so as you can see, I've cut these plates with the arc dried out at some 10mm. I've cut that one. I've cut one for middle, I haven't put it in yet. I've also just cut them. I just free-handed them because I had a piece of 6" which just worked really well there. So that's sort of the back. Obviously they're not welded in yet, and there's some to cut off the bottom because I've left them a bit big. So just made this cardboard template here, which goes in there. I've left that little bit on there because it's telling me to add a bit to it and to cut it wrong. So in theory, cut that template out of some 10mm, one on each side, and then that'll be the main body of the bucket together then. I've got an edge just there at bench to put on it, so I will tack that on as well. And then there's the middle piece to put in, which is just here. I cut that out with the arc dried just before. So as you can see, that's sort of a little bit of tickling, and it'll be tickling, a little bit of altering, and it'll be right, that. So yeah, we're making progress with it. It's going to be a big bucket when it's done. That edge over there is just half of a whatever. They're more than 3 meters long when they come, so it's probably about, I don't know, 20 mil longer than what we would like for this bucket. But I'm not going to bother cutting 20 mil off. I'll just leave it at both sides, so there'll be a bit more stuck out there and there than what there is now. And yeah, it's starting to come together. It's obviously all just tacked in at the minute. I haven't got any further with it than tacking it in. Get it all tacked together, get edge tacked on, and then I'll weld it up with big welder. I've just been tacking it up with little Kempy, but I'll get big Kempy fired up and we'll weld it up with that. So yeah, I'll bring you back. I'll probably film cutting these pieces out here. I didn't film cutting them because I was having issues. Now I've got it set right, I'll film cutting these pieces here. Right, bring you back when I get some more. Right, so I just showed you cutting these out on the arc dried. Brilliant piece of kit. So here it is tacked in, so you can understand what I'm doing now. Right, I've got them sides both tacked in now, both hang on straight. Right, so I've got that middle support in now. Right, so you can see I've just tipped it up with the machine, so I've lifted it up with the back pin. I'll show you. Lift it with the back pin. So that is how the bucket will dig along the floor, and then you obviously crowd it up to collect your material. So I've put this edge on. I've decided that about 10 mil stuck out of the side looks right with the rest of the bucket, so I'm just going to cut that down to 10 mil. I know it's a bit of a waste of just a bit, but it looked daft when I split that on each side. It would have been like 35, nigh on 40 mil at each side. It just looked wrong, and also you catch that on that corner at blade or something like that, you'd rip the edge of that bucket out in no time. So I think it's a better job like that, but I'm just going to tack that edge on, and then she'll be ready to start welding. I'm probably going to weld some of it in situ like it is now, just to make life a bit easier, and then I'll flip it on its back, weld some more. Trick to keeping these edges from bending is I'll get my piece of angle iron back and weld it on the edge up to here, just to hold that edge in, stop it from bowing down while you weld it, because when you weld it you're making it one edge, making this inner longer, which then stretches it out, which it obviously doesn't like, puts a big bow in it. So I'm fairly happy with it, so I'll bring you up and get a bit further. Right, just thought I'd show you where I'm up to. So I've welded up some important bits, so end of that. I've just put one run along that bottom. I'm gonna do that side. I've done along these edges here and there. Done along there and along there. Ran out of gas there. Gas ran out on bottle. Some of these welds don't look the prettiest, so I was having quite a few problems with generator. It kept on conking out, so I've just welded that one up because I was sat down doing that. And I've done these runs along this back, same at that side, along there. So what's left to do now is flip it over, pull that the old bucket back into the new bucket, weld all the back up, and then flip it onto its end, and I'll weld that end while it's on the floor, and obviously this end while it's up in the air, and then flip it over again, do that again on this end and that end, and then that'll be most of it welded up. Then the edge will get welded in the next time I flip it back onto its front, and then I need to cut the brackets off and weld that back on. So anyway, I will bring you back when we get slightly further along with it, and I'll probably bring you back when I welded it up, or I'll show you how I'm going to pull that back in. Right, sweet. Right, this is the back edge. Just wanted to explain to you what I was talking about. So because both sides of the bucket are not the same, I've got a lip here and I've got very little lip there, so I'm going to cut this down to the same as that, fill this gap in, and then this floor here, so that middle bit was original and them edges are original, and that's a big bit where bottom of floor bent out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to smack that with a hammer a couple of times to get it in, and then I've got a clamp that I tack on and clamp it down to get it all bang on, and then I'll weld that up after, and then obviously I'll weld that edge. The back edge will just get about welded like a 6-inch stop, 6-inch stop, 6-inch stop, and then these edges here all get welded up. Obviously once I've lopped that down, same at that side, that'll all get welded up, and then they cut that extra bit off, and that'll be this bottom part actually finished. Not going to bother putting wear strips on it, I don't think, because A, I don't think I've got enough stuff to do it at the minute, and B, it's supposed to be used for moving, you know, non-abrasive material, really, like logs and chip and all that. So yeah, right, I'll bring it back when I get it welded up. Thought I'd show you this. So beaten that down with hammer, just straightened it out, but you can see over there it's come down pretty well. But there was a bit here that just wouldn't move, it kept on springing back. You see, you know, there's a step in that. So I've got a couple of old clamps that are cut in half. So if you can see, I can see that this clamp just clamps that down beautifully. So I just tack it on one side, clamp it down, tack your edge that you're trying to weld, and then just knock your clamp sideways, it'll drop off, grind your tacks off, job done. Nice little tip for you, that. Right, so I've got this fairly well welded up now. I've just got the edge to weld on this front side, just waiting for me to weld it to cool down. So I've tipped it up on its end and welded all the insides and the outsides. I've welded the back, I've welded the top, I've welded that. I ran out of gas there, I'm going to grind that out and re-weld that. So that's back. The bottom's all welded up. So all I've got to do, run along this edge. I've got to tack a piece of angle iron in middle first to stop it from bowing. Sorry about that. And then we're fairly well done with the actual build of the bucket. The only thing I need to do then is modify this. So I'm going to have to cut this out like that, and then slide it back, and then build a, cut this out, probably like that, slide it back, and then build all the support back into it. Ideally, what you would do is cut the whole bracket off and start again. Cut two new ones out, but I haven't really got time for that, or that's 12mm, not 10mm. I've got loads of 10mm, but not very much in the way of 12mm, so probably going to struggle to get. I haven't got any today, and I want to get this done today. So what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to cut this down here, slice it along that weld, slice straight, pull it down. I think it's 80mm, so it'll be back here somewhere, and then fill the gaps up. So, right, I'll bring it back and we'll cut this up and I'll show you what I'm doing. Right, so that's that all welded up now. I've cut the bit of angle iron off, welded that edge in. I've extended the hitch backwards. I know that doesn't look amazing yet, but I'm going to grind that down so it's all one piece, but be plenty strong enough. All I need to do is grind that off and make it look a bit better, and then it's all going to get painted anyway, so you'll never know that it was there. So that's this bucket pretty much done. I'll show you when I've got some paint on it. Hopefully I've got enough black paint. If not, it's just going to end up as red oxide. Right, so that's it in paint. So as you can see, it's sort of like a matte. It's still drying, that's why it looks a bit funny, but it's a mixture of a couple of different black paints that I had just to stop it going rusty. So as you can see, we've made a sort of a high capacity bucket out of that. So we've obviously, this is about where the edge would have finished, so we've obviously gained all that, gained all this, and gained all that at the top there as well. The hitch bracket is now made 100mm longer for the 3CX hitch. So yeah, the arc dry just cut these really well. Really happy with it. Really happy with that cut. That I'm going to write that down, because that cut speed and amps and everything just absolutely perfect cut. That I don't think you get a lot better cut than that with anything. So that's it for this video. Like I say, like and comment and subscribe and all that. I'll see you on the next video. I'll leave it at that, I think. Thanks for watching. See you later.